So this is the LG Soundbar S95QR. It's a very impressive home theater setup all on its own that delivers 810 watts of power through its 9.1.5 channel setup, but it's an even better companion for your LG TV, because thanks to WOW Orchestra, your LG TV's built-in speakers will work together with your LG soundbar, giving you a much more impressive and much more immersive listening experience when you watch movies at home. So if you got a new LG TV, or if you got any new TV for that matter, let's see what the LG Soundbar S95QR is all about. Now first, I do want to thank LG for sponsoring this video. Now in this video, we're going to be taking a closer look at the LG Soundbar S95QR. Now this soundbar is compatible with any TV out there, but we're also going to be talking about the enhanced experience that you get if you use this LG soundbar with an LG TV. And today, we're going to be using the LG OLED Evo C3. Nonetheless, if you want to pick up the LG Soundbar S95QR, it will be linked down below, as well as the LG OLED Evo C3. Now first, let's talk about the design of this system. Now the LG Soundbar S95QR is a fully built-out home theater system. You get your soundbar, you also get an external subwoofer, and it's wireless, so you can easily place it anywhere. And you also get a pair of rear satellite speakers, which are also wireless, which makes placing these speakers very easy as well. And thanks to the radios found in the S95QR, their wireless transmission has been improved and skipping is not an issue. You only have to worry about wiring these subwoofers and satellite speakers up to power, and you can place them wherever you'd like. Now, the design language of the soundbar itself is very similar to LG's TVs as well. The S95QR has this brushed metal top on it, very similar to the brushed metal that you'll find on LG's TVs, but this brushed metal does a really good job of not causing any reflections. And on the front, there is a cloth facade, and there's also a hidden screen on the front of this soundbar, which automatically turns off when you're done using it. Overall, this entire home theater system does a really good job of simply disappearing when you're going to watch a movie, which is what you want from your home theater setup. But thanks to its brushed metal body and shared design language with LG's TVs, the S95QR also looks very elegant even when it's not in use. But also, the LG Soundbar S95QR is a good system to consider if you're thinking about wall mounting your soundbar. Now, the S95QR does come included with a wall mounting kit, and you can also wall mount the rear satellite speakers. But more importantly, the soundbar itself is relatively compact and lightweight, especially when you take into consideration all of the drivers that are built in. And the soundbar itself and the rear satellite speakers all plug in via an AC port, so there are no external power bricks that you have to worry about hiding, which just makes wall mounting this entire system a lot easier. Now, when it comes to connectivity, the S95QR is actually very impressive. Now, just as you'd expect, there is an HDMI eARC port that goes connected to your TV's HDMI eARC port, and the S95QR does come included with an HDMI cable. But what's really impressive is that the S95QR has two HDMI in 2.1 ports. So you can plug in both your gaming console and your Blu-ray player, and you can have everything going to your TV through just one port, which really does make cable management a lot easier. But also, just in case you need it, there is an optical port. But for the best experience, you should definitely connect your soundbar to your TV using the HDMI eARC port so that you can have support for higher quality audio codecs like Dolby Atmos and DTS:X, which the S95QR has support for both. Now, regarding wireless connectivity, the S95QR has support for AirPlay 2 and Chromecast, so whether you're an iPhone user or an Android user, as long as you're connected to the same Wi-Fi network as this soundbar, you can always stream music to it. And also, you can use this soundbar as a smart speaker, and you have support for either your Google Assistant or Alexa. But also, the soundbar does have Bluetooth as well. Now, technically, it is better to stream music to this soundbar through Wi-Fi by either using AirPlay 2 or Chromecast, but Bluetooth is still a good option if you want to share your soundbar with someone, but you don't want to share your Wi-Fi password, or maybe you're just using the soundbar in an area where there isn't any Wi-Fi. But you should definitely connect the S95QR up to Wi-Fi so that you can use the soundbar app, because from here you can easily adjust the sound settings of your soundbar. You can also easily start the calibration process so that your sound is tuned for your room, and you can also switch between the different sources on the soundbar. However, if you were to use the S95QR with an LG TV, then you might not even have to use the app, because all of your settings are easily accessible from the TV itself thanks to the WOW interface. And personally, I really like being able to quickly switch between the different EQ settings from the TV itself, all from the TV's own remote, because different content calls for different settings. If I'm going to listen to music, I might switch it over to the music with Meridian setting, or if I'm going to watch a movie, I might switch it over to cinema, or if I'm watching something where dialogue is a little difficult to hear, then I'll just switch it over to the Clear Voice Pro setting. And again, being able to easily and quickly switch between the different sound profiles is very easy thanks to the WOW interface, which is something that you only get if you use the S95QR with a compatible LG TV. But even if you don't use the S95QR with an LG TV, or if you simply just don't want to use the app, you can still easily adjust its settings by using the included remote and the built-in screen found on the front of the soundbar itself. But with all of that out of the way, let's talk about sound. Now, when it comes to speaker setups, the LG Soundbar S95QR is very impressive. First, the soundbar itself has a total of 8 drivers in it. There are 3 that shoot out the front, there are 2 that shoot out of each side, and there are 3 that fire upwards for that true Dolby Atmos support. But then there are the rear speakers. Now, each speaker has a pair of drivers that shoot out the front and slightly out to the sides. And each speaker has an upward firing driver that really helps with that Dolby Atmos and gives your audio that sense of verticality. And finally, like I mentioned earlier, there is an external subwoofer that handles all of the bass. But now we're going to jump into the sound test. Now we're going to be using the S95QR all by itself, and this is to simulate what it's like to use this soundbar with any other TV, and it's going to be playing at 75% volume. But also, since we do have an LG TV, we're going to be using WOW Orchestra, where your TV's built-in speakers will work together with your soundbar. And that's going to be playing at 75% volume as well. And finally, we're going to be using the built-in speakers found in the LG OLED Evo C3. And they're going to be playing all by themselves, but they're going to be playing at max volume so that they can keep up.
Please don't stay the night. Don't try to change my mind. Baby, please don't stay the night. I must do what's right. Don't make me ask you twice. Ooh, don't stay the night. Don't try to turn it into a fight. You know I love you by my side. Don't stay the night.
So first off, obviously, any soundbar is going to sound better than your TV's built-in speakers. Your TV most likely just has a pair of downward firing speakers that bounce sound off of the table. They don't get all that loud, and at higher volumes, their bass becomes a rattling mess. And this is because since TVs are becoming thinner and thinner, their speakers are becoming smaller and smaller. However, if you were to use a more premium TV like the LG OLED Evo C3, then your TV's built-in speakers are going to sound and perform better than your more affordable TV. Now, the built-in speakers on the C3 get decently loud, and distortion isn't as big of an issue even at max volume. However, the built-in speakers found in the C3 are really only good for actually listening to dialogue with. However, if you were to use a system like the LG Soundbar S95QR, first off, the S95QR does have that external subwoofer that I mentioned earlier. So you're going to have a lot more bass now. So you're actually going to be able to feel what's happening on the screen. And this is going to give you a lot more immersion when you're watching your movies. But also, specifically with this system, you're going to have a much better sense of verticality and much better room-filling audio thanks to the 5 upward firing drivers. Now, this improved verticality and improved room-filling audio is also going to give you a better Dolby Atmos and DTS:X experience. Now, what Dolby Atmos and DTS:X are is that they're both audio codecs that allow creators to play sounds in a 3-dimensional space. So they can make it sound like there are things flying above you, instead of simply having all of your audio on a single plane. So again, this is just going to add a better sense of immersiveness, and the S95QR has support for both Dolby Atmos and DTS:X. But finally, there's just max volume performance. The S95QR puts out a total of 810 watts of power, so it gets extremely loud. It's literally going to have no problem filling a house with sound. And personally for me, whenever I watch movies or TV with this system, I rarely have to go past 35% volume just cause it gets that loud. Now, the S95QR is a very impressive home theater setup all on its own, and it's a great addition for any TV. However, if you were to use this LG soundbar with an LG TV, then you are going to have support for WOW Orchestra. So your TV's built-in speakers will work together with your soundbar. And specifically, this is going to help you get an even more defined center channel, which is usually going to make it a lot easier to hear and understand dialogue with. But also, if you use your S95QR with an LG TV, then the S95QR is going to use the Alpha 9 AI processor found inside of your TV to automatically optimize its sound to whatever you're watching. And also, your max volume performance is going to increase because your TV's built-in speakers are supporting your soundbar. But with all that being said, the LG Soundbar S95QR is a very powerful and very impressive home theater system that first off gets extremely loud and has a lot of bass, which is really good for immersiveness. But thanks to its rear satellite speakers and total of 5 upward firing drivers, this soundbar has a really good instrument separation, it has a really good room-filling sound, and it has a really good sense of verticality, which is really going to enhance your Dolby Atmos and or DTS:X experience. The LG Soundbar S95QR is a great addition to any TV out there. However, if you want to get an even better experience out of your S95QR, then you can always use it with a compatible LG TV, like the LG OLED Evo C3, like we did today. If you use the S95QR with a compatible LG TV, then you are going to have access to WOW Orchestra, where your TV's built-in speakers will work together with your soundbar, thus giving you a stronger center channel, and you're also going to have better max volume performance. And you're also going to have access to the WOW interface, where you will be able to easily access all of your soundbar settings directly from the TV itself. And if you use the S95QR with an LG TV, then it's going to use your TV's Alpha 9 AI processor to automatically optimize its sound for whatever you're watching. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit the like button and get subscribed. If you want to pick any of the products up, they'll be linked down below. And if you want to further support the channel, check out the merch. I made some shirts and hoodies that look and feel great. And you know I can be very particular, so I'll only slap my name on something if I'm really proud of it.